What am I supposed to do today? There's nothing out there. How do I begin? How am I supposed to start this show? I hate days like this. I've been out to all the stores. I've been to all the resales. There's nothing out there. I need a project, man. I need direction. But what am I supposed to do? I mean, it's not like something's just gonna materialize. It's not like something's just gonna show up on my doorstep. Ow. Lambo's a sucker for a clean beard. Aren't we all? Give me a second. You know, the claws are really an unnecessary part of this exchange. You really... Do you hear the dog barking? I gotta go let him in. I'll be back in a little bit. So that's where the cat beard thing comes in. If you have not seen that before, Lambo, we're pretty sure he was separated from his mama way too early, and that is something that certain cats will do. He considers my beard his security blanket. I did have something drop into my lap over the last couple of weeks. I have been in touch with a friend of mine who has unearthed a whole lot of comic books from her childhood, DC and Marvel, and we're gonna take a look at everything in that box. So you will see what I see when I see it. Just to begin with, I'm gonna talk about shipping. If you do have to mail anything, you should definitely check into calling it media. Because interestingly, comic books are the exception to the media shipping rules. I'm not going to do a lot of setting up outside of just sort of setting up a camera angle and then opening the box, and we're gonna go through it. It is a huge box, basically like a wine box, filled. This thing showed up on my doorstep, and the UPS person was not happy with me. But these comic books came to me all the way from Minnesota. I gave her some ideas as to how she could sort of dig through them and start to figure out what some of these things were priced at, what they were valued at. And even with technological assistances, the process became way too convoluted for her to want to do. Everybody say hi to Penny. She doesn't make public appearances very often. Anyway, this is the box of comic books. Are you ready for this? I thought it was a wine case. It's actually a 24 Mega Pack family roll Charmin case, complete with the bear that likes to talk about wiping its ass on the side. Let's open it up. Let's do this. Wow. Just standing next to this box, there are several in the top already that I can tell you aren't going to be worth very much because they don't even have covers on them. Excuse me. Don't smoke cigarettes, kids. But I'm just going to start with what's up top here. And so this collection is going to be worth quite a bit. I know that these Tarzan comics are going to bring a lot of money. I have not looked them up yet, but these are in astounding shape. A little bit of wear, a little bit of love, but that's nothing. That can be overlooked by the right collector or fixed by the right nerd. These Korak, son of Tarzan, are sort of a rare commodity, I believe. Especially the 25-cent cover price. And just to let you know, let me take a look at some of the publishing information. 1974. These 100-pagers are from 1974. In fact, I know that there are two collectors who come into the store all the time who are looking for these issues. Again, these have been kept in just in a cardboard box. They're not even, they're not bagged, they're not boarded, but they are in excellent condition. And the corners are sharp. The colors are brilliant. Obviously, these did not see a lot of sunlight over the time of their keeping. Oh, I can't believe these Tarzan comics. Absolutely astounding. So that's the Tarzan. Let's take a look at this stack here. This is the type of thing that I'm going to tell you is probably not going to fetch any kind of money. These Justice League comics are a write-off, straight out. 1964 on this next one here. Fantastic Fingers of Felix Faust. 1962. But luckily these just seem to sort of be there are only a few of these that are really, really trashed. But Brave and the Bold. Holy cow. Anyway, I will stop flashing these older ones, but there's a ton of these that are just sort of destroyed. This is not going to fetch anything. This whole pile here. Those were well loved. So let's find a place for those. Oh, might have to have a funeral pyre for them or something. Grab another stack. Now we're getting into some Wonder Woman. Return to Paradise Island. Your Tulip Diane. The Incredible I Ching and the new Wonder Woman. Wow. Wonder Woman wasn't about bondage and control. It really wasn't. It was never a male fantasy. 20-cent cover prices. And this right here is the sort of thing that a collector is going to go bug over. It's the sort of thing that when you're dealing with these, people can make a legitimate claim against the condition of this comic book because of that fold right there. Amongst other reasons that they will claim a 20-cent Silver Age is not worth the money that you're asking for it. This edge here, people are they're gonna bitch about the curvatures, which all can be taken care of, by the way. Everything can be taken care of. I need to put some light on the top of these because they're so curled. I need to switch my camera angles. But I feel like my hands are touching history. It's a reverence thing. I never thought I would be handling some of these books, and that's another thing. Somebody in the comics collectors zone is probably out there just absolutely livid that my hands are touching these. Let's move into some Superman. Superman's Secret Past. Certificate of Marriage. See, Daddy, you thought this all good. Takes care of that shadow a little better. Just amazing. These Superman are from 1974. And there's a bunch of them. Cataloging all of these is going to take a tremendous amount of time. But I bet the folks at Radar are just going to love it. This is the kind of thing that you get into the business for, is to see books like this, to handle books like this. I mean, look at that. $0.20, 1974 Superman. Chris Dobart, the Wolf of Wall Street. If only you knew back in the 70s. I wish I could give you a better history on these, other than my friends collected these while they were kids, and she said that she learned basic sciences from Superman and all of the other sort of things that you learn from comic books that people never gave them credit for. Never said, well, hey, you know, this is what first introduced me to the principles of flight. This is what first introduced me to physics. This is, you know, all that sort of things was sort of brought to the kids in a way they could understand it. And these comic books were oftentimes consumed too, by members of the armed forces. You know, these would be distributed all around because they were a universal way of telling a story that even folks who were a little less than literate perhaps could enjoy. So it appeals to a lot of folks. Excuse me. Yep. Get back into some Tarzan. Okay. The other thing that I am doing as I'm showing these to you is putting them into stacks. I think what I'm going to have to do with these inevitably is to bring them over in lots, because there's a ton of books here. They're never going to want to drive through all of this in one sitting. No way. Tarzan is an interesting property. Both Marvel and DC did runs with the character. Obviously, I think DC had a more prolific run, but oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what I'm going to show you now. The very first issue, my hand is shaking. The very first issue of Dr. Fate. Holy cow. Holy cow. I am absolutely shaking right now with this. All right, that's enough hero worship from me. Let's get back into the parade of books. Oh, these Warlord comics, kind of interesting sword and sorcery stuff. A little bit of answer, if you will, to Conan, I would imagine. And a little bit of John Carter ripoff. And then, so those are really neat. Ready for some Batman and the Bat Family. These are 1975. If you do see any issue here that you do not feel you can live without, these issues will all be over at Radar Toys. And wow. Four-star spectacular. Let me set these aside for right now, because I've got a couple of Marvel to show you real quick. There's an X-Men, which is from 1974. And the X-Men, 12 cents cover price. The Death of Professor X. Not a hoax, not a dream. This is for real. So there's those two, which just sort of jumped out of all of this DC stuff. And then we're back a little bit into some Secret Origins. DC, here's a DC special that I'm probably gonna have to buy myself. Superheroes Battle Super Gorillas. These DC specials are amazing. Earth-shaking stories. The Flash, Green Lantern, War Against the Giants. I believe I have some of these. Wow. Green Arrow and Speedy plus a mysterious guest star. Creeper and the Wildcat. What is the strange power that turned the Hawkman into a killer ape? Hawkman, you're killing me. here is a 12-cent Metal Man, which will no doubt bring some money. I just turned some of these over myself. In fact, mine were in better shape. But there's some unfortunates. Just some ones that are kind of falling apart. Some Metal Men. Again, I don't know if those are going to bring any kind of price whatsoever because they're so destroyed. But we will find out. Justice League now. Green Arrow charged with murder and shaven. What's up, Lucy? What do you want? Again, these are huge. These 60-cent collections are like phone books. And they give it to you for 60 cents, which, you know, at the time was like, oh my gosh, what kind of price are you piling on here? As I'm digging down into this box, I'm starting to see some other stuff. There's wonder upon wonder. Absolutely unbelievable. To a bunch of Action Comics. Black Canary. What does happen when Superman gets a toothache? It's doomsday when Superman screams, "I want to wreck the world!" This is a job for Perry White. Absolutely killer. And they're in such fantastic condition. I mean, for books of this vintage, you are not going to see finer. I just don't think, you know. There's going to be a bunch of graded comics out there, which have been slabbed, quote unquote. Gosh, I hate that term. When you get a comic book graded, it becomes more valuable to some. What happens is you send it off to a comic book grading company like, well, they exist. And I'm not going to name any of them because some of them are a little bit in ill repute at the moment, and I don't want to give anybody the wrong directions to where to send their comic books. But slabbed comic books are comic books which are graded and then put into a plastic shield, rather like a collector case, which can never be opened again because the comic book has been graded as the condition. So if you break the seal on the box, you don't get to play with that price anymore. And I personally, I feel like even though these are works of art, they are lithograph, if you will. They are facsimile. They're not the real thing. They're simply a printing that lasted long enough to become valuable to someone. And if you take that book and you put it behind glass, that's great. But no one can ever open it. No one can ever flip through and see the ads that existed in 1974. Slim Jim's been around a long time. But look, friends, you can win a bike. We all wanted that bicycle. I'll tell you what, these comic books are time capsules. And the interesting thing about handing a time capsule over is that it eventually is opened again by another generation. And things are paged through and taken a look at. If you put one of these pieces of art behind a piece of plastic, there's no more tactile interaction with that book. Some may be all about that. Good gosh, this thing has been handled by children since 1974, so let's just stop all of that. But I feel like these are comic books. I feel like they are living, breathing pieces of art. They're like trading cards. I remember this issue. Oh, I loved cheeseburgers as a kid. There was nothing better in the world than cheeseburgers. I remember that cover. Oh my gosh. This is so much fun. I hope everybody's digging it at 28 minutes of me just laying out book after book. But where are you going to see this again? Somebody just opening up a gigantic box of comic books. It's in rough shape. But we will take care of them from here on out. What will happen with all of these is that they will be put on a bag and board, which is the usual way you treat these pieces. The bag keeps people from handling it, and it keeps outside elements out, inside elements in. But also, the bag and board is going to make sure that all of the love that has happened to these so far is all the love that will happen. You see some of these spines, that's going to detract greatly from the book's worth. But sometimes when you come across a book, it may be the only copy you have seen in your lifetime. Sometimes you come across a book that you are aware of that You just know. Wow. Hero. We got to do something before I kill somebody. The dream bomb. Dream bomb. Oh. I like that cover a lot. I might buy that just for that cover. I love it. Superman and Batman quitting Earth, taking off and leaving. The Intruder from Dead World. Oh, wow. Okay, that is half the box. Done. I'm going to take a short break. All right. Part 2 starts off with some wild stuff. There's a Carlton Teen Confessions. This was an attempt back in the 70s to include girls in comic books. So what did girls want to read about? They want to read about romance, of course. Star Trek from Gold Key. Again, I'm going to say that this is going to be, with the exception of a little fold in there, this is going to be a big sell. This is kind of interesting. Searing battle sagas of World War II seen through enemy eyes. So, interesting. The enemies and this is war. First DC issue. Wow. Then let's get back into some purity from DC for a little bit here. Some Supergirl with the deep cleavage. Got some deep cleavage going on. I'm not saying anything you can't see for yourself. This is kind of interesting here. Nipple. Oh boy. I'm sorry, I gotta drag it down, don't I? Just gotta drag it down. Into the Toy. 15-cent adventure comics. Are you kidding? Girlfriend, Lois Lane. Lois Lane. I didn't read any of these. But again, attempting to get girls into reading superhero comics, right? So, and in that vein too, they targeted me. As a redhead, they tried to sell Jimmy Olsen, but everybody knows redheads are not superheroes. Just doesn't happen, can't happen. Superman family, 80 pages, all news stories. Jimmy Olsen, Nashville's these are great. I had to, in doing this, I had to take a short break because standing up, even though I have sort of put these at a good level for me to stand here and do this. But standing still, oddly enough, it causes the most hassle with my back. If I can keep moving, if I can keep walking and stuff, it doesn't get creaky and locky and all that sort of thing. This is something that you're not gonna see anymore, and it's a good thing, but Nazi representation on the cover of a DC comic book, which that episode or that issue of Blitzkrieg. Let's look at things from the Nazi perspective, because we dare to be different at DC Comics. Extra with Green Lantern and the Atom, all new Manhunter, whomever that was. Extra with Robin. My man Dr. Fate down there. Kitty Turner. Who put heavy things on top of Hawkman's head? With no cover, unfortunate. Ghost Mountain. Ibis the Invincible, the Spider. All new Manhunter, they were really pushing Manhunter. Eclipso and Plastic Man. Plastic Man was an instant seller for me. Anytime I saw Plaz on a cover, I bought it, which was not very often, and that's why I was like super into Plastic. Here we go. Some just regular issues. 25-cent Detective Comics. These are from 1973. And there are just amazing issues. One after the other. These Detective Comics are in fantastic shape. There's some that have been loved, but again, it's really, that's what these comics were for back in the 60s and 70s. They weren't collectible. And that's why seeing a collection of this size in this kind of shape is so rare. Okay, more Detective Comic there. And then we have some really, really fun stuff. I'm getting goosebumps. This is amazing because I was just speaking to the folks at Radar Toys, where I will be taking these comics to be appraised and bagged and put into their stock. But let's take a look at Plop. Plop, as well as Marvel's ARG, were the attempt of DC to sort of horn in on the head shop market. getting after the people who smoke pot. This kind of artwork was very popular in America in the late 60s and early 70s. And so trying to get on the bandwagon, DC had a comic book called Plop. And it's really, really bizarre stuff. These comic books are akin to finding Robert Crumb Zap comics and things of that nature. These were oftentimes consumed by people who, hey, you know, sitting around in somebody's basement getting stoned, man. And, so they did not last, as this entire stack of them has. That's amazing. Okay, digging into the box again. Wow. Going way back here. This is from 1969. Batman for a cover of 15 cents. Moon of the Wolf. So that's a well-loved edge there. In a bag, that will look fine though. I'm sorry, I'm just sort of at that point of I'm actually very stupefied at what I'm doing. Here's some from when Evel Knievel was a big thing. Let's see, when is this from? 1975. So, all of these are from the same time. Batman. I apologize for some of the glare, but I'm just trying to do this as quickly and efficiently as possible to give you a look at every book without taking a ton of your time or boring you absolutely to death. Some new Batman, actually. That's interesting. Some Gotham Knights. And 604. Interesting. That's just odd to see those books in there. These are from excuse me. Don't smoke cigarettes, kids. You'll hear about it every hour on the hour. Now we're moving into some Teen Titans. Here's the 12-cent cover price Teen Titans. The Return of the Mad Mod. This has to be super old. 1968. Again, some of these covers are a little bit decked, 15 cents, but they're really, again, for when they're from, they're in great shape. We're getting into some other stuff here too. That's it for Teen Titans, but we've got first DC issue of Man Bat. Unreal. And number 2 of Man Bat. So those are there. Some Flash comics, 20-cent cover prices. Holy cow. $0.20 cover prices. This is a treasure trove. And the Flash has been a very popular TV character in America for about 8 years. That show's been running 8-9 years, something like that. And they're just about to come out with the Flash movie. So these will be in high demand. Folks. Oh, we are just filled with the Flash. Fantastic. Okay, here, this is going to be interesting, even if you're not into it. Here's something I never knew. Marvel Comics did the, I believe that's Archie, right? Maybe the model. I had no idea that that even existed. Betty and Veronica. And believe it or not, Archie Comics, stuff like Dennis the Menace, when it's in good shape like this, is honestly worth some bucks. It's 1974. 1974 Bicentennial Special. Dennis the Menace, the Christmas special. Right? Okay. Now we'll get back to some superheroes. Sorry. I'm just grabbing what comes out of the box and showing it directly to you. I did no preloading of any of this. Back to some Batman team-ups and such. Batman and the Wildcat. Featuring Batman and the Joker. Raven the Bold. Mr. Miracle. Raven the Bold, Batman, and Batman. Wow. These Brave and the Bolds, they are making a Batman movie called The Brave and the Bold, which will feature Damian Wayne, which is Batman's biological son. Wow, there you go. Batman and Sergeant Rock. Batman Wildcat co-star with the Joker. Oh my. Bold featuring Swamp Thing. Plastic Man and Metamorpho. There's Sergeant Rock. Wow. 12-cent Superboy. This was from 1968. See, you could get a missile-firing tank for only $6.98 back then. The war in Ukraine would have been much better off back then. Okay, that's a terrible joke. But tanks would have been cheaper. Here you go with some more Superboy. Forget my nasty jokes. For the moment, if you please. It's barely together, probably not going to fetch any price at all. But these Legion of Superheroes are a big deal. They're absolutely going to drop a puppy when I bring these in. And I need to figure out how I'm gonna do that. I guess I'm just gonna put this whole box in my car and then take it over to the comic shop and start to let them go through it. But that is the bottom of the box. Also in that box were reprints, which they called famous first editions or limited collector prints. I'm gonna have to let you see the outside edges of my table that I've set up here to do this, to get these fully on the screen. But these are big, oversized reprints of old school comic books, and they would put these out. I mean, look at the size of this compared to my hand. Okay? These are like huge double-size issues. And even these old school reprints can fetch a really pretty price, especially because these are in such amazing shape. I have never seen a collection like this in my life. It has never, ever come across my desk. In 56 years, I have never seen such a treasure trove. And I need to put out a huge thank you to my friends who have entrusted me with this job. I will get it done for you. Let me turn this camera around. I am blown away by what I've seen, and I haven't even begun to see what the values will be coming back on some of these books. There are books in here that are probably not going to pull all that much money. I will be ultra honest with you. Quality and the market demand is going to make some of those books more valuable, and some of them it's going to make less valuable. There's no such thing as a golden score, but this is probably as close as I will ever come to doing this, and it's been such a rush to open the box and kind of go through its contents with all of you. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will keep you included at each then stage as we go along in the trade-in of this collection. I am absolutely mind boggled. My mind is boggled. It's all bottled up. So I'm gonna sign off. I'm gonna put some pants on and I'm gonna go to the comic book store and blow some more minds. Because I gotta get this stepped up. I don't want them waiting for their money. But thank you very much to my friends. I don't think it's saying too much to say Mike and Kay. Thank you very much for entrusting me with this, and I will make sure that these are shepherded to their new owners, and I will get a check cut for you and sent. Or I guess people use Cash App now, don't they? Anyway, we'll see you next time here. Please hit the subscribe button. We have all sorts of wild and wacky adventures here. It's not all comic books. Sometimes it's toys, sometimes it's crafting, sometimes it's hobbies. But it's always a waste of time. I can guarantee that. Did I say that out loud? Shit. Anyway, thanks everybody, and we will see you again very, very soon here on Monkey Shine Lab.
Holy shit! How did you get in here?